She don't know. Once again, that amnesia is right there. Hey y'all, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Janae, if you didn't know, and today's video is another true crime episode. So if you're ready, let's go. Alright y'all, so as y'all know, today is the final day of Mystery Week, so stick around to the end so y'all can find out if y'all was right about what the theme of this week was. If you're new here, hey y'all, what's up? Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy listening to true crime content, and we just gonna go ahead and get into today's video. And today we're gonna be talking about Colleen Harris, and this lady is a piece of work. She's a piece of work. She's not as bad as old girl that we talked about the other day, but she's something. So Colleen was born on March 28, 1942 in San Francisco, California. And once again, there is very little about her upbringing, about her childhood, her life in general prior to the case. But what is known is that she was married and divorced at a young age. And after her first marriage, she would end up meeting a man named James Batten, and he owned a surveying company. I don't know what a surveying company is, but whatever it is, he owned it, and he was doing very well in that business. And once he and Colleen met and started dating, or maybe even after they got married, I don't know, Colleen would end up working for this surveying company. Now, I also am unclear if Colleen had her children with her first husband or if she and James had children together. But what I do know is that Colleen did have 3 kids, and whether they was with James or not, he took care of the kids as if they was his own. But if they was his, then he just took care of his kids like a man should take care of his kids. The family lived in a place called Placerville, California, and they were a pretty happy family for about 10 years until Colleen and James's marriage started to sour. It's said that at some point James presented Colleen with a divorce. Like, he just felt like the relationship was over. They gave it the best they had, and it was time for them to move on and go their separate ways. But unfortunately, before the divorce could even begin, tragedy would strike. So it's 1985 and Colleen is calling the police. And during this 911 call, of course, the dispatcher is asking, what's going on? Where's your emergency? And Colleen says that she thinks she shot her husband. And so the dispatcher is like, okay, so what happened? And Colleen says, I don't know. She said she didn't remember what happened. So immediately police are dispatched to the location, where they find James in the bed, deceased from a gunshot wound. And with all the evidence that was collected, Colleen was arrested and charged for the death of James. And so initially she went with the, I don't remember nothing. I got amnesia, temporary amnesia. I have no clue what happened. I don't know. But during the trial, she kind of switched it up and said some of her memory was starting to come back to her. She said that James was an abusive partner and the abuse had been going on for years. But this particular day, she decided to confront James because she had learned that James had been sexually assaulting her daughter. And so she confronted James, like rolled up on him like, okay, so you've been doing da 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 with my daughter or whatever. And James freaked out. He grabbed the gun, and so they got into a tussle with the gun, and Colleen ended up shooting James. And so essentially she was claiming self-defense. So the jury went back to deliberate, and they agreed with her. They bought her story. She was acquitted of this murder in 1986. So after her acquittal, Colleen ended up taking over James' surveying business, and she made a good chunk of money off of this surveying business. And she wasted no time getting back into the dating world. So the same year that she was acquitted, in 1986, she met a man named Robert Harris, but not so much met him as got reacquainted with him, because they dated in middle school. And so they got reacquainted with one another. And Robert was born in 1940 in San Francisco, and he was a true outdoorsman. He really loved and enjoyed being outside, just nature, just taking in all the scenery, the air, just everything about outside. Robert loved it. So much so that he worked for the U.S. Forest Service. So when Robert was going to work, it didn't even feel like he was going to work because he loved what he did. And Robert had also been married with 3 kids, but he and his wife divorced once the kids grew up and were out of the house. So once he met up with Colleen, they were both, well, she was widowed and he was divorced, but they were no longer in their prior relationships. So they rekindled their middle school flame and started dating again. And they dated for about 4 years before they got married in 1990. So instead of Colleen moving to where Robert was, Robert ended up moving into Colleen's home, which was the house that she had previously shared with James. And Robert knew Colleen's history. He knew that she had been acquitted of murder in this house. And he pretty much just said that Colleen lived a hard life and he was on the side of the jury like she got acquitted. It is what it is. It was self-defense. And he didn't really think too much of it. He wasn't going to judge her for her past. Before they decided to retire and live out their golden years together. But even in their retirement, they were still pretty active in the community and doing service work and stuff like that. He even became a volunteer sheriff. So the people in the community absolutely loved Bob. Bob is Robert. I don't think I said that. Yeah, I don't think I said that people call him Bob. But yes, Bob is Robert. So Bob was very well liked in the community. Along with his volunteer sheriff work, he would also travel to Mongolia to work on conservation projects. And at this time, like I said, he and Colleen had been married for well over 20 years, and the marriage has started going downhill. So when he went to Mongolia and met a younger lady, he would end up having an affair with her. And in 2012, Colleen found out about this affair. And as y'all can imagine, she was not happy about it. And so she confronted Bob with it, and he didn't deny it. He said that things had been shaky. He was having an affair, and he actually told Colleen that he wanted a divorce. He was very vocal about ending a marriage. But when Colleen ended up having to have hip surgery, he put the divorce on hold so that he could take care of her during recovery. But unfortunately, Bob's caring nature would be his downfall, because on January 6, 2013, police will receive a call from an attorney named David Weiner. And I bet y'all can guess who attorney that is. Yes, Colleen's attorney. The one who represented her in James's murder trial. Yeah, him. He called the police and he told them that they needed to get to Colleen's residence in Placerville, where they will find a dead body. And so obviously the 911 dispatcher was like, okay, so what's going on? But he was like, I can't tell you because of client-attorney confidentiality, but you need to get there, and you need to get there now. So when officers arrive, they find 73-year-old Robert Harris in his bed, deceased from a gunshot wound. Sounding quite familiar, isn't it? So naturally, they bring Colleen in for questioning, and according to her line of questioning, she don't remember. She don't know. Once again, that amnesia is right there. So despite her saying that she can't remember nothing, detectives start detectiving, and they find out that on the night of the shooting, Colleen actually drove 3 hours from Placerville to San Francisco. And on her way back to Placerville, her car ended up breaking down and she had to call AAA. And they actually got a hold of these AAA tapes, and like I said, Colleen was saying that she was foggy brain. She didn't remember nothing, like it was all a fog, and that she had stayed at the house. But this AAA call, she was clear brained. She was able to tell the dispatchers her exact location, what was wrong with her car, and that she needed help. So this told them that she was not foggy brain. She was very clear headed on the night of the shooting. And they dug around a little bit more, and they found out that she and Bob had actually been divorced in 2004. But it wasn't because their marriage was on the rocks or anything like that. They got divorced in 2004 so that Colleen could still receive survivor's benefits from James's death. So with all the evidence that they collected, 70-year-old Colleen was arrested on January 9, 2013. And of course, she would end up pleading not guilty. So they had to take the case to trial. So all of this evidence was presented at her trial. And unfortunately for Colleen, David was not able to get her acquitted this time. And she was found guilty of the murder of Robert Harris, was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 50 years. And she ended up dying in July of 2022 in prison when she was 80 years old. But yeah, y'all, that is all I have for this case. And if you have made it this far in the video, the theme for this week was killer grannies. Vita was the one who got it right first. Brandy and BG, they said lady killers, but we were specific to grandmas. It was old ladies. So yeah, y'all, thank you so very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.
Is Dad home?
No.
Where is he?
He went to work.
Again?
Yes.
Who put me in my bed?
Your dad?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. It is.
I know. From an attorney named David Whitaker. Weiner. Damn, these braids ain't even... Okay, whatever. Whatever. I'm not about to stress about these fucking braids. Yes, I am. I want to do them over. I ain't gonna do it, though. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just buy a hat. And unfortunately for Colleen, David was not able to get her acquitted this time. The glove fit, bitch. No, I'm just kidding.